Good morning, all. We are ready to resume the hearings for 2026. Welcome back. Please switch off your cell phones. Please switch them off. Thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Mahlape.
Good morning, Chair.
Good morning, Ms. Ms. Mkhwanazi. Good morning to everybody gathered here and to those watching remotely. Ms. Mahlape.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Chair, and good morning, co-commissioners. For the record, Chair... Oh God, I said Ms. Mahlape. You did not even realize it. Well, it's because both are right, technically.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, today we intend to lead two witnesses. And our witnesses today will be on the theme of political interference. Our first witness is in the box, Major General Anthony Gopal. Just to place his testimony in proper perspective, I would like to remind the commissioners that General Mkhwanazi, during his testimony in dealing with matters of political interference, he does so from paragraph 243 to 251, and he specifically references the incidents that General Gopal had with the minister in this regard. The commissioners will recall that General Mkhwanazi tendered an annexure MK21, being the affidavit that the Major General had deposed to in an ongoing investigation. So he comes here today to confirm in part the contents of that affidavit and what General Mkhwanazi attributed to him at the time. Major General will be led by my learned friend, Ms. Mutlasedi. We are ready to proceed, and I believe that the witness is ready, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, General.
Good morning, Commissioner Chairperson.
Thank you. Will you be swearing or affirming?
I will take the oath, Commissioner.
Thank you. Do you swear that the evidence you are going to give is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you, General.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, General.
Good morning, Council.
Good morning. Before we start, can I confirm that you have two white files in front of you?
That is correct, Chair.
That's correct. They should have your name on the spine. One file should contain your witness statement, and the second file should contain an annexure bundle. Do you have that?
I confirm that, Commissioner.
Thank you. Could I ask you please to go to the file containing your witness statement?
I am there, Councillor.
Thank you. And if you go to the last page of that file, that should be page 11. Can you confirm that that's your signature at the bottom right corner of that page?
I confirm that, Chairperson.
Thank you. Please then confirm that this is your statement for purposes of the evidence you will give before the Commission today.
I confirm that, Chair.
And that you confirm the correctness of its contents and that you stand by them.
I confirm that, Commissioners.
Thank you, General. Remaining in that same file, could I ask you please to turn to page 1 of your witness statement?
I am there, Councillor.
Thank you. And we are then under the heading Introduction at paragraph 1. Could you please tell the Commission about your role in the SAPS with reference to the contents of paragraph 1?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I was appointed in 2022 as the District Commissioner of Ilembe at the rank of Major General, and at the time I served there as a district commissioner until May of 2025, where I was requested by General Mkhwanazi to assist him at his office as the Deputy Provincial Commissioner for Crime Detection in an acting capacity, which I'm still currently assisting with.
Thank you, General. If we then flip over the page, please, we go to page 2. There is a heading at the top of that page titled Background and Service History. Could you share with the Commission briefly your professional experience within law enforcement?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I currently am serving 35 years of service in the South African Police Service. Between 1990 up and until 1997, I was on the lower ranks of operational work at different police stations. But from the year 2001, specifically, I then joined what we would call the SMS level, which is not the SMS level, the national components of the organization, working in different environments at 2001. Some of them being the National Inspectorate here in Pretoria, then being Protection and Security Services, which deals with the protection of VIP and the likes. And then I moved on into border security, where I served much of my time providing leadership in the environment at a senior management level in the border security environment from 2007 at the level of brigadier until 2022.
Thank you, General.
Then,
please proceed.
Chair, amongst the many courses that I had undertaken, I will just emphasize and focus on the senior management level managerial, which is an important aspect of being able to be competent and a person that will be able to discharge his or her responsibilities. One being the Executive Development Management Program, which I had undertaken. I successfully undertook that program. And then I also did some courses here in Pretoria with the policy and efficacy inspections development as well. And then I completed a course on public administration in the space of training within the context of the South African Police Service. In addition to that, Chair, my qualifications span over a few qualifications, one of it being an extracurricular diploma in forensic auditing, the second being a diploma in the National Diploma in Policing. Then I moved on to studying the bachelor's in policing and successfully undertook that. I then continued to diverse a little bit on my studies, and I went into the Master in Technology of Forensic Investigation. And I successfully completed that master's. And I'm currently undertaking my PhD in the criminal justice, focusing on cybercrime, which I am at an advanced stage. Chapters are submitted, and I'm working with my professor. That's a bit of background of my education and courses, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, General. Please then turn over the page to page 3. You will see then at the top of that page, we have a heading titled, My Interactions with Minister Mkhunu. Immediately beneath that, we have a subheading titled, The Murder of Councillor Mabhida. I'm going to ask you to start at paragraph 8 and to narrate your interaction with the Minister with reference to that subheading, please.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, my interaction with Minister Mkhunu was over two specific aspects. The first one, which I will deal with now, is in relation to the murder of Councillor Mabida, who was a councillor in the municipality of Mandeni. Chair, I received a call from the Minister on the 5th of February, around 8:17, and at the time of receiving the caller was inquiring about what transpired with the murder of this particular councillor. I did not recognize the voice at that time, nor did I have Minister Mkhwanazi's number stored on my phone, so I didn't recognize this caller. And after the caller had outlined, what the call was about, I then politely asked the caller, "Can you please tell me to whom am I speaking?" And it is when the minister said it's Minister Mkhwanazi. And I then immediately placed that voice with Minister Mkhwanazi, and then I said, "Minister, I'm sorry, I do not have your number on my phone, and I did not recognize your voice," and I greeted the minister politely. Then, after that we started that conversation, I did brief the minister, and I did say to the minister what had transpired in the incident of the murder of Councillor Mabida. Chair, with your indulgence, there is some detail of what had transpired in the actual shooting of the councillor outlined in my paragraph 10. If the Commissioner and the Chair will allow me, I would prefer not to narrate the details to cause some kind of secondary trauma to the family that might be listening to my testimony today, if that's in order.
Ms. Mkhwanazi, from where I'm sitting, that is in order. Do you?
100%, Chair.
Yes.
The witness can continue without detailing the contents of paragraph 10.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Yes, thank
Chair,
you.
after having given that particular feedback of what had transpired and how the murder was undertaken to the minister then told me that I must keep him abreast of the investigation. And I then said to the minister that I'm not investigating the murder, although it happened in my district at the time. And that the murder was being investigated by the political task team. The minister then asked me...
You mean the political killings task team?
Commissioner, maybe I'll put it to you this way, Chair.
Yes.
At the time, now for the sake of public record, everybody is calling it in its full the political killings task team. At that time, it was just referred to as a political task team.
All right.
So now we use it more often. So in the context of the originality of my conversation with the minister, it was simply political task team. I didn't use the word killing in that context.
But I'm looking at paragraph 11 of your statement. You also referred to it as...
Yes, that's correct, Chair. No, you're correct that I wrote it in this full abbreviated acronym.
Actually, in words, not the acronym, you say political task team, as you are saying now.
Yes.
But in brackets, you say PKTT.
That's correct, Chair.
Anyway, thanks. Please continue, General.
No, thank you, Chair. So, Chair, I did tell him that that is the team that's investigating it. And the minister then asked me, but why are they investigating the case? I had instructed that these cases be investigated at the police station where the crime takes place. And understanding why, in my own way, I tried to explain to the minister that when it comes to the political killings, the team that is investigating these kind of murders are better equipped and trained to understand the modus operandi of how these murders take place, who are the normal hitmen that are contracted. I tried to explain to him that they can do a better linkage, because if a police station investigates a case here, he wouldn't know how it is related to another murder in another police station across the province in a totally different district. So it made easier sense for better investigation to apply that kind of centralization of these dockets for investigation. The minister didn't respond to my response when I told him that.
General, my apologies, General. Perhaps before you continue, in paragraph 12, the first sentence there, you indicate that the minister inquired why the task team was investigating the murder, and then you say, as he had given a clear direction that all political killing murders must be investigated at the stations. What did you understand that direction to be a referral to at that time?
Chairperson, I had absolutely no understanding of what the minister at that time was referring to, a clear direction, and to whom and to where. He just simply said that you must understand, Chairperson, I'm receiving a call for the first time in my life from any minister. So I'm not going to be the one to question the minister about what direction you're talking about, where did you give it, and what context. So it is just as it is. I've narrated the story, Chair.
Can I just ask, good morning, General.
Morning.
Before this call, and this particular part of your call with the minister, had you ever become aware of an instruction that political killings must be done at the district level or the station where they occurred?
Chair, the first time I came to understand about some kind of contention around this issue of the political task team and the minister was when I viewed and watched the portfolio committee where General Mkhwanazi was narrating a story about the political task team. It is the first time I had viewed or got to hear about some aspect or contention, because at a provincial level, this was not a topic for us. It was not in our space or sphere of discussion in our span of control. I hope that brings...
Just to clarify, to be clear for the record, this discussion this explanation by General Mkhwanazi that he's referring to is at the March 2025 parliamentary appearance.
That is correct, Chairperson.
Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. General, you can continue your evidence. You were dealing with the contents of paragraph 12 and 13.
Thank you, Chair. So having given that explanation to the minister, that they better understand, the political task team understands the patterns of how to these crimes and how to investigate them. The minister then, like I said, then thanked me for the feedback, but he still asked me if there's any development, I must keep him abreast. So that's how our call had ended. My call had ended with the minister.
Thank you, General. Could I ask you to please turn to your annexure bundle? To please go to page 10 of your annexure bundle.
Sorry, Councillor, page?
So annexure bundle, page 10. Page 10. It will be a document labeled annexure AG3.
I'm with you, Councillor.
Thank you. And General, please identify what this document is.
Chairperson, I went into my WhatsApp in preparation of this statement, and I did what I call my own export of my entire conversation with the minister that I had with him on WhatsApp. And I then printed that and I annexed that to my statement.
So for clarity, General, for example, in paragraph 8 of your statement, when you indicate that you received a WhatsApp call from that number beginning with 082, do you see that?
That's correct.
That's correct. If you look at annexure AG3, the contact you have saved there as Minister Mchunu?
That is correct.
Is that the number
yes.
indicated in paragraph 8?
That is correct.
Thank you. So if we were then to go back to the last paragraph where you gave evidence of if you look at paragraph 13 of your statement.
Perhaps before
I apologize.
Before you do that, General, did the minister explain to you why his particular interest in this case? In the conversation that you have with him on the phone, why he wants to be updated, why he's asking you about how this occurred?
Commissioner, at the time, I didn't know, but I summarized later on why the minister had interest in that particular councillor.
Okay, so you'll still get to that.
I haven't mentioned it in my statement, but I could indicate it right now up front.
Please.
Later, I came to understand that the interest in the specific candidate or the specific person here, Mr. Mabhida, was because he was an ANC councillor. The minister is from the ANC, and even in the subsequent, which I will get to, the minister attended the funeral and had an interest in that particular councillor because he was from the ANC. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you,
Sorry, Ms. Mashateli. Good morning, General.
Morning, Commissioner.
I just want to understand something. Where did the minister get hold of your phone numbers, and how did he know that you are the person to speak to if he wants to know more about this case? I'm just curious to understand how the connection started, and out of all the people, he decided to call you and speak to you. So where did he get your numbers, and how did he know who you are, and how did he know that you could assist him with information relating to this case?
Commissioner, you sound like my principal, General Mkhwanazi. He asked me the very same question after I had called him to narrate that the minister had called me. And my response to him was, I don't know. It's the first time I've ever received a call from any minister. So I have no idea where the minister got my number from. It wasn't something I could ask the minister, where did you get my number, by the way? It's something I never asked him. But I never interacted prior to this with the minister where we exchanged numbers. So where he got it from, I wouldn't know, Commissioner.
Just out of interest, were you the investigating officer in the case, or were you the station commander of the station where the case was reported? I was trying to understand why the minister would contact you and ask you about this case.
Commissioner Kumalo, I was the district commissioner. Mandeni Police Station is one of the 10 police stations that falls within the district under which resorted under my command and span of control. So the 10 station commanders in the district reports to me. Mandeni is one of those stations. Councillor Mabhida is a person who died in Neoni Police Station, which is also under my jurisdiction as in the Ilembe. He is a councillor in Mandeni municipality, but he was murdered in the Neoni policing precinct, which is still under my control as a district commissioner.
So is it safe to assume that he could have inquired and somebody would have directed them to you?
I would say so, Commissioner.
Thank you.
General, was this the first political killing, in your recollection, the first political killing within your area since the minister was appointed?
To my recollection, Commissioner, I think it was, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. General, just to tie up on our previous point, if you have regard to paragraph 13 of your statement, please. That last sentence there reads, my call with the minister on the 5th of February 2025 was 8 minutes in duration. If you then have regard to page 10 of your annexure bundle, the page where we were before.
Yes, I'm with
Are you there? And if you have a look at the fourth line from the top.
That's correct, Commissioner. Chair, the 8 minutes is consistent with the WhatsApp export chat that reflects the 8-minute conversation I had with the minister on a WhatsApp call.
And General, as we continue to work through this particular interaction with the minister will just have reference to this extraction from the data from WhatsApp. But I would ask you then to turn to paragraph 14 of your statement.
Thank you, Chair.
And continue from there.
Chair, so later the same day, the minister, I WhatsApped the minister with an update because I had received some information regarding possible suspects that came to my attention. Now, this particular information, when it came in, it was about an arrest that was made, not specifically for the councillor's murder, but it was suspects that we had arrested on a possession of unlicensed firearm, which the local investigators at the police station had picked up in the interviewing the suspect that he may be related to the murder of the councillor. I messaged the minister, but then I realized, okay, maybe we must see the investigation through before I could have given that as a possible suspect, and I then deleted those messages to the minister.
So, General, the update, was it in what? Did it consist of 4 texts? Because I see 4 deletions.
So I didn't get the question, Commissioner Chair.
I'm saying in paragraph 14 you refer to an update, singular, but in AG3, page 10, I see 4 deletions. So did the update consist of 4 texts?
That's correct, Chairperson.
All right.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you. General, following on from the Chairperson's question, please then continue from paragraph 15.
Thank you, Chair. So, Chair, on the 5th of February, after I had spoken to the Minister, I then called General Mkhwanazi to give him an indication. Our protocol, Chair, is that within the South African Police Service, in the context, is that no man is unto himself. You have a chain of command, and you follow that chain of command. You're appointed in the context of the chain of command. So when somebody out of your protocol contacts you, communicates with you, you will have to inform your principal that I have been communicated by a particular individual, and this is the context of the conversation. In this instant, I then, in due respect to that protocol, called my principal, who is Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, and I praised him of the telephone conversation between myself and Minister Nkuno. Chair, it is similar to the very same question that Commissioner Khumalo had raised earlier on, where General Mkhwanazi asked me, but why will the minister be calling you? Do you know the minister? Have you met him before? How does the minister have your number? And my answers to him was similar to the earlier, that I don't have a personal relationship with the minister. I don't know him. I don't know where he got my number from. It's the first time I've received a call from a minister, not just from a Minister Nkuno, from any minister in the South African government that calls me directly and speaks to me. So I've never had a conversation with the minister before. Then that conversation, after outlining that to General Mkhwanazi, I then updated him also with what was transpiring in the meantime with regards to the suspect, and I then indicated to him that I have communicated with the investigating officer of the task team that we may have a possible suspect that they may want to come and interview in the case that they are carrying, because the one we are having is just for unlicensed possession of firearm. So after speaking to Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, I then messaged him some of the content regarding those 4 suspects, the 2 suspects that we had in our possession, regarding the unlicensed firearm. And General Mkhwanazi then asked me to keep him abreast also if there's any developments in that particular area regarding this, the murder of the councillor. Chair, you will note that the investigation team will deal with an investigation, but the impact of the environmental factors that will follow the climate and the temperatures out there in the community will still be policed by the police station. Station commander, myself will be monitoring what is the climate. You will know that it's tense. There's a councillor that has been shot. There are possible theories about who might have committed it, who's behind it. So we had to still monitor that on the ground physically ourselves through our own means and methods.
Thank you, General. Please then continue on from paragraph 17.
Chair, on the 7th of February, I called Minister around 0837 and I gave him an update that the suspects are making their court appearance related to the unlicensed possession of firearm. And we have not dealt with them in terms of anything else except for the unlicensed firearm. So I indicated to him that there is a court date that these accused are appearing on, but this is the suspects now that are possibly going to be linked to the murder of the councillor, and that once they appeared for the unlicensed firearm, they will then subsequently be processed by the task team, who was going to go and then address them on the murder related to the councillor. Chair, the arrest of the suspects in this incident, I must say, was undertaken by the public order policing on the same night of the murder on a routine patrol, where they had stopped, and during the search of these suspects, they found them with firearms. And when they had brought them to the station, it is the local detectives, in trying to understand where does the firearms come from, where they're coming from, and the investigative techniques of investigation, they then uncovered that it is possibly linked to the murder of the councillor.
General, before we turn to the next page, just to clarify, could I ask you to have regard to page 10, again, of your annexure bundle? If we go back to the initial telephone communication you had with the minister, that is the fourth line from the top on the 5th of February. Are you there?
Yes, Chair.
Okay. So, General, if you read from the left, it sets out the date there as well as the time.
You're talking about the fourth entry?
The fourth entry, that's correct. So it would set out the date and then the time. Are you with me?
On the 5th?
Correct.
Is that the 1333? Or the above?
It would be, the time would be 8:17:59.
The 8:17, yes, Chair, I'm there.
Thank
you.
It's
a 1, 2, 3. It's a fourth line, but it's a third entry on a date.
100%.
So it is on 08:17:59.
59.
It says Minister Mkhwanazi, voice call, 8 minutes.
Indeed. And your evidence earlier was that the initiator of that 8-minute call was Minister Mkhwanazi.
That is correct, Chairperson.
100%. General, if we then go a few lines down to the 7th of February, the entry relating to the 7th of February, you see that?
I'm there, Chair. It's at 08:37:36, and the call was made by me to the
100%.
Minister for a duration of 7 minutes.
So for purposes of reading this extraction from WhatsApp, the name of the initiator of the call is what would appear there.
The name is Anthony. It's my first name, Commissioners.
Which indicates that you were the initiator of that 7-minute call.
That is correct, Chair.
Thank you, General. Could I then ask you to go back to your witness statement?
There.
And you can continue from paragraph 18, please, which is on page 6.
Thank you, Chair.
General, maybe before you do that, at paragraph 17, where you say you gave the minister an update on the status of the suspects. What does that mean? Did you give him names? What exactly does that mean?
No, I didn't provide detail of names. I only indicated to the minister that the two suspects that we had arrested for unlicensed possession of firearm, through the interview process, we can now say that we have linked them to the murder of Councillor Mabhida, and that we will then be processing them and charging them in terms of that particular crime after they have appeared in this particular court.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Chair, that I will then indicate that in my next conversation, well, not conversation, let's put it interaction with the minister was on the 15th of February. On the 15th of February, it was a Saturday, and I was in a part of a panel with a senior management panel where we were interviewing candidates for senior management positions. And during that particular time of the interviews, we were in the process, so I wasn't paying attention to my phone. And at some point, when I looked at my phone, I realized that there is three missed calls from the minister, Minister Mkhwanazi, on my phone, WhatsApp calls. I looked at it and I saw that it was, the first one was at 0923, second missed call was 0924, and the third one was at 1050. So then at that time when I paid attention to it, we were with a candidate that I saw these missed calls. And so I waited for the candidate to finish, and then before the next candidate, I then decided to, I messaged the minister at the time to say that I'm in a panel and that I'll call him, when the candidate was done. But then when I tried to call the minister at 10:55, I did not reach him. And the minister messaged me to say that he's at the funeral of Councillor Mabhida. So he wanted then an update on the suspects of this particular, the murder of the councillor. He wanted to know the charges and any information that is relevant to the murder of the councillor. I would then, attending the funeral, I would imagine that he might want to have that information to communicate to the grieving family, where we are with the investigation and the arrest of the suspect. So I was in this panel, and when the minister then sent me this message, I then sent a message to the actual investigator of this docket, the team leader, actually, Lieutenant Colonel Kumalo, and I said to him that the minister was looking for an update on the investigation and the suspects. Chair, the investigating officer then messaged me to indicate that he will update the provincial commissioner on where they are with the investigation, and that if the minister wants any further updates, he can contact the provincial commissioner. I then related that message to the minister of what the investigating officer had told me on message, and the minister then responded with two words. He then said, "Now covered." So I took that to believe that he's satisfied with that answer that I gave him. And that was the last time that I had communicated with the minister on this particular issue, Chairperson.
General, with reference to paragraph 19, previously upon receipt of queries from the minister, you'd agree that you'd responded to his request for information or updates. Is that so?
Sorry, Councillor, I didn't get the question.
Previously, when you would receive requests for information concerning the Mabhida murder from the minister, you'd agree that you would respond and provide an update or information. Is that?
That is correct, Councillor. From the last brief I had given the Commissioner of the possible link of the suspects and that we did eventually link them, there was nothing more I knew about the case. Hence, I needed to establish from the investigator if there, what other development. You know, sometimes, for example, you may find that the investigator will tell you, okay, the following evidence was analyzed and the following suspect was linked, the firearm belongs to somebody, they acquired the firearm from whom, which other murders they're linked to. So I didn't have anything more than what I had on the previous occasion. So I inquired with the investigator if there's any developments that have taken place so that I could appraise the minister.
And so your decision to reach out to the investigating officer in respect of this murder was because at that point you had no further updates to provide the minister.
That is correct, Chairperson. Chairperson, I must also add that inasmuch as no matter which unit is investigating a murder or any crime, if a citizen or a community member in my district has suffered a trauma or a crime, I have a responsibility to make contact with the various teams to see where they are with matters and how I could assist them, because sometimes logistically we support certain operations in the area. So it is the community that will ask me the question, what am I doing about this and what am I doing about that? So I usually try to keep abreast, but there are some sensitive units that we do not get the full explanations of the stages of investigation or where they are. For example, DPCI, political task teams sometimes will withhold certain parts of the investigation so that they don't compromise the investigations. But we do interact with them.
And General, still discussing the contents of paragraph 19, there you indicate that the investigating officer explained that he would update the provincial commissioner, who would then update the minister. Is that the ordinary protocol that is followed? Is that the procedure that must be followed in this context, or was that something unique to the circumstance?
Chair, usually when it comes to political principles, unless we're in an imbizo and we are together somewhere as part of a community outreach program, there will be that interaction with politicians. Other than that, when it comes to the normal protocol of chain of command, politicians will talk to our principals, and same way if you go to just take a local level, you will find that the mayor will communicate with the station commander because that's the level on which they are in the local area. In myself, I have lots of interaction with the district mayor because I'm a district commissioner. So I have a lot of interaction with the district mayor and the mayors because in terms of the levels that we are on protocols, I'm allowed to do that interaction. But when it comes to MECs, comes to ministers, that protocol lies at the instance of the provincial commissioner or the national commissioner, that is depending on what it is. But mine is limited as a district commissioner to district mayor, local mayors. That's my level of protocol that I can engage and interact with.
Thank you, General. You indicated in the course of going through your statement that this was the first time that a minister had contacted you.
That is correct, Chair.
In particular concerning the murder, for example, of a councillor, of a ward councillor.
That is correct, Chair.
100%. And you also now explained that in ordinary circumstances, politicians would typically talk to your principal, would talk to your superior.
That's correct, Chair.
So in this context, was it appropriate for the minister to reach out to you seeking information concerning the murder of Councillor Mabhida, in your opinion?
Chair, from my protocol training, it is not appropriate. But I can't say from Minister Mkhwanazi's protocol, as a politician, what training they receive and how to communicate and with whom and to what boundaries they cross and allowed to cross. But purely from my training and my 35 years of historical, institutionalized protocol, it is not normal and it is not in accordance with our protocol for me to interact with the minister without the specific direction of my principal.
And if you are able to, General, could you comment on why that is perhaps not normal, or why that would go against your training? For example, what is attempted to be prevented in context where a minister directly engages an officer of your station?
Chair, this comes out of experience, my own personal experience in the history that I've served the organization. In any province, the provincial government interacts completely with the provincial commissioner. In fact, the provincial commissioner exercises and invokes his authority in the province in consultation with the executive of that particular province. When a minister interacts with a national commissioner, it is fine. When he interacts with the provincial commissioner, it is also fine. But the provincial commissioner is better positioned to understand what and how to answer a national minister who is asking about a province to which the provincial commissioner is serving under the leadership of the provincial executive, in this instance the premier, and his cabinet. So yes, he will be better positioned to be able to understand a better picture of what responses is better suited to the minister.
Can I just clarify something? General, did the minister say in what capacity he's communicating with you? And the reason I'm asking that is I see that on the 15th, he attended the funeral of Councillor Mabhida. They could have been related, they could have been members of the same political party, so it does not necessarily follow that when the minister makes inquiries, he's making them in his capacity as a minister. It could have been as a political colleague, as a relative, or as somebody who's from the same Ilembe district. In what capacity did the minister communicate to you and ask you these questions?
Chair, I did not get that from the minister, and I did not ask him in what capacity. Mine, I took it just as the minister, because the only relationship I would have had with him was, now that he's calling me, is as a minister, nothing more than that. So he didn't tell me I'm calling because I'm a relative, or I didn't have that indication, Chair.
Because let me give you an example. As I'm sitting here, I'm a commissioner. But outside of this commission, I'm an ordinary citizen. And if I go to a police station or I contact a station commander and I inquire about an existing case, there are lines to be drawn. You can't assume I'm doing that because I'm a commissioner at the Madlanga Commission. I could be doing it as an ordinary citizen or as somebody who lives in a particular area who's interested in what's going on with a particular criminal case.
Commissioner, that's why earlier on I said that later on I could only summarize that the interest could have been because the Councillor Mabhida was from the ANC. So it's possible that it's because he's a comrade, because he's a relative, but I didn't get that clear from the minister as to what was his specific relationship, whether it was just fulfilling an office duty as an office bearer of the ANC or as a minister or as a relative. I didn't pick that up in my interaction as to what would be the reason specifically. It might have been that, yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner. General, that then brings us to the end of your paragraph 19.
Ms. Mkhwanazi, let me then ask my question if you're completing that section. General, we've had the minister testify here before, and in the context of the political killings task team, his stated position is that there's no hierarchy of murders. Murder is murder, and there's no reason to have a specialized team or a special team, task team investigating political killings. Now, has the minister, and that's the context of my question, keep that in mind, has the minister called you about any other killing that falls within your jurisdiction?
No, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. General, can I then ask you to have regard to the second subheading? We're on page 6 of your witness statement. There is a second subheading just above paragraph 20. It's titled Ward 28 Shakaskral by-election. Are you there?
I am there, Commissioners.
Okay. Can I ask you to detail for the Commission the events relating to that by-election, starting from paragraph 20, please?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, my next interaction would be related to the Ward 28 Shaka Scroll by-election. And this is also in General Mkhwanazi's testimony that he had related here in oral evidence at the Commission. Chair, there was a by-election that was underway in this particular ward. It is in the Shaka Scroll Mshlali area, where a candidate, Mr. known as Dushi, but his name is Vishnu Gopal, Governor, was a candidate standing for the election, by-elections in that particular ward. Chair, in 2024, during the national elections, national and provincial elections, Mr. Dushi Governor was quite instrumental in rallying support in that ward towards the ANC. And it is one of the very few wards that won significant votes during that election.
The ANC won.
It was an ANC ward, and he was in 2024 an ANC councillor. Then in 2025, he resigned from the ANC as a councillor, which prompted a by-election. So during this period, it meant that he resigned as a councillor from the municipality and, of course, from the ANC, and he then joined the Mkhonto Sizwe party. The candidate, Mr. Dushi Governor, in the previous election, as I indicated, over decades, he's been very, very well supported in that community. And in this by-election, he seemed to enjoy the similar support.
Now campaigning under the banner of the MK party.
That is correct, Chair. He is now campaigning under the banner of the MK party. Chair, during the campaigning period, there were quite a number of senior, very high-profile ANC officials would come and support the ANC candidate, which was in that area, trying to campaign for the ANC. One of them was Minister Mtono, and he also came out campaigning. I will deal with that campaigning part in a short while. I will start with where he, on the 31st of March 2025, after campaigning on the previous days, on the weekend, on the 31st of March, Minister Mkhwanazi went to the police station of SAPS Mslali, and he then indicated to the station commander, Lieutenant Colonel Naika, that while he was on his campaign trail, he was taken to some people who complained extensively about the MK party candidate, Mr. Dushi Govender. And the complaints he had received from them was that the police is doing nothing and they are under the control of Mr. Dushi Govender, and that Mr. Dushi Govender and his family get away with committing any kind of atrocity they feel like, or crime.
Specific reference, General, is made to case CAS 61/06/2021.
That is...
Yes, what was that case about?
That was a case of an housebreaking and theft case where he specifically told the station commander that he'll be returning to the police station in the afternoon at 1500 hours, and he wants the management to bring that docket and explain to him why Mr. Dushi Govender has not been arrested.
Who had laid a charge in respect of this matter, and who was the suspect?
Chair, in this particular case docket, a complainant was, it's in my notes, and I didn't put it in the statement. The notes are made of the meeting that the minister had. The complainant was a member of the public, and the suspect in this particular case docket was the son of Mr. Dushi Govender, and not Mr. Dushi Govender himself. So that was a housebreaking and theft case. So in the morning, basically, he tells the station commander, Minister says to the station commander, I'm coming back at 3 o'clock. Have your management ready. Bring this docket. I'm going to interview more people with complaints, and I will want you all to explain why you are doing nothing about these cases.
I do realize, of course, that the interaction was with Lieutenant Colonel Naika.
That's in the morning.
Yes. Did you ever get to understand why the minister was making all these inquiries?
Commissioner, I'm coming to that part of my statement where, after that conversation, Colonel Naika called me and indicated that what had transpired. She also sent me a message in relation to that. And then I was, at that time, in a meeting, an accountability session, case docket session with General Mkhwanazi, and as the normal protocol again, I informed the provincial commissioner that the station commander of Mslali has called me to indicate the minister's visit, his conversation, and his intended revisit at 1500 hours. My discussion with General Mkhwanazi, when it concluded, was that I should go there and to the police station and join that meeting and not leave the junior level to be interacting with the minister in that fashion, which I did, Chairperson. I then proceeded to the police station, and it's where then I found the minister, Minister Mkhwanazi, with a few of the ANC officials in the office of the station commander. All of them were clad in ANC regalia. They were clad in ANC regalia, and they were in the office of the station commissioner. I greeted the minister and his colleagues that were with him. I greeted the station commander and the management that was there, and I took a seat at that table. And then I indicated to the minister that...
when you say they were all clad in ANC regalia, does that include the minister?
That includes the minister, Chair. For ease of reference, in my annexure, there is a picture that was taken with the minister on that day outside the police station in that particular regalia.
To assist you, General, that picture is on page 6 of your annexure bundle. It's AG2.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, this picture, I must contextualize it. It wasn't a picture that was taken out of official. It was a request of the CPF chairperson that wanted the picture with the minister. And then the minister didn't want to be alone. So we joined the minister in that photo with that particular CPF, deputy chairperson of the CPF in that picture.
Thank you, General. General, can I ask you to please continue your evidence from paragraph 25? At this point, you've explained to the Commission that the Minister had asked for a meeting at the station at 3 o'clock and requested that station management explain to him the ongoings with reference to CAS 61. Is that right?
That's correct, Chair. Chair, when I had arrived, as I indicated, I did see the Minister, and I did now introduce to the Minister that one will recall that my previous interaction with the Minister was as a district commissioner of Ilembe on the previous incident. Now I had to introduce myself to the Minister as the acting deputy provincial commissioner for crime detection. So I then introduced myself in my new acting capacity as to what brought me there. The station commander was, the acting station commander, Colonel Naika, was also in the room because the station commander was on vacation leave at the time. Also, then the acting district commissioner was also present or joined us a little later, actually, in the session. So Minister Mkhwanazi then indicated that they are just waiting for one gentleman to join them before they can start. And that gentleman was Mr. Sandeep Odram. He was also an ANC comrade. So after a few minutes has passed, I think the minister decided to start the meeting without him, which we did, and Mr. Odram subsequently joined while we were in the meeting. But the minister then starts to narrate that he went to different houses or community members, and in particular there were 3 different instances that he narrated complaints against the candidate that is standing for elections, Mr. Dushi Govender. The minister was of the opinion that the community has a sense of frustration that we are doing nothing about Mr. Dushi Govender and his son's behavior. My notes, as the minister was outlining it, I have made reflection on my notes, which is part of my bundle, which...
Let me assist you, General. Your notes, a typed version of your notes, my apologies, appears on page 4 of your annexure bundle. The handwritten version is AG1, beginning on page 1, but the typed version of that meeting would be on page 4.
Yes, Chair. So my handwritten version and my typed notes are there. So there was I will not mention the names in my notes for the sake of protection of those complainants in those matters, but there were persons that the minister referred to that were complaining about Mr. Dushi Govender, and they narrated certain cases also. Chair, at the end of this entire session with the minister and Mr. Sandeep were also narrating certain frustrations against this candidate, I then pointed to the minister that Firstly, the case 61, we gave him a feedback to say that in that case docket of 61, housebreaking, which the minister specifically asks for, the suspect is not Mr. Dushi Govender, it is his son. And it's not that we didn't arrest the son, we arrested the son in this matter. In this particular matter, there were other accused with the son that was arrested. And the matter was taken to court, and the prosecutor then declined to prosecute the son in this matter. It's because in the complainant's version of a statement, the complainant never saw the son, but heard voices, and she associated the voice with the son. So I cannot I don't know more than what was in the mind of the prosecutor, but that's the reasoning that was provided in the case docket. So that matter was withdrawn or declined to prosecute. So I gave the feedback to the minister on that particular docket, and the minister was then not happy with that. He says, why will the prosecutor decide in that particular way? There was also the same son who was charged for murder. And the context of the murder was where he drove his vehicle into somebody after an argument. And the court gave him a suspended sentence with community service. The minister then wanted to know why the court gave such a lenient sentence. And again, I responded to the minister that is prerogative of the judiciary. We cannot question the outcomes of hearings or trials and the sanctions and the verdicts. The court is the only place one can take one's recourse to. So the minister then indicated he will raise this issue with the Minister of Justice in his own interactions with him. I then indicated to the minister in relation to the complaints that he was citing with the assistance of Mr. Odram, that we would really like to get to interview those particular persons, open cases if we need to, and get a report on or complaint if they are complaining about police inefficiency, so that one could assist in attending to it in a formal and constructive manner. The minister in that meeting agreed that Mr. Odram will provide that report to the station commander. I must say, Chair, to date, we don't have that report. And we've not been given access to the people that they were complaining about. Then, I also then wanted to indicate that during my interaction with the acting station commander, even prior to this meeting, on the date on which Minister Nkunu was campaigning, she did send me on text message on WhatsApp indicating to me that Mr. Odram took the minister to 3 specific places or to houses for people to complain about the candidate, Mr. Dushi Govender. So, my response to her was that if the minister asks you any questions, take note of that and indicate to the minister that we will respond appropriately to those concerns. At that time, it was concerned. So we'll report. And I didn't realize the minister was going to come the following day and then call a meeting. So we thought, I asked the station commander acting at that time to just take note of it, and then we will get to respond to that.
And General, just a question of clarification. If regard is had to your paragraph 28 of the witness statement at the bottom of page 8.
Yes.
That reference there to he in the first sentence. The minister inquired why he was given a suspended sentence for murder. That's a reference to who exactly?
I think, Chair, the minister was given an impression by Mr. Odram and the colleagues that were here with him that it was Mr. Dushi Govender that was charged for murder. And then I had to indicate to the minister that it was not the Mr. Dushi Govender, it was the son. So the he I'm saying is, when I referred to this paragraph, by then I had already clarified to the minister, so I was just referring to the son at this point.
And so just to be clear, those complaints that you recorded in your notes at page 4 of your annexure bundle, those complaints in fact were related to alleged criminal conduct on the part of Governor Junior and not on the part of Dushi Governor as...
The Chair, yes, the complaints, to their understanding, it was against Dushi Governor and the sons, but when you go into it, you then realize it's not Mr. Dushi Governor, the candidate that was standing at the by-elections, it was against the sons.
Thank you, General.
Sorry. Am I hearing you to refer to sons, plural now?
Mr. Dushi Governor has a few sons.
All right. I'm asking specifically because I thought throughout you were referring to just one son. Now
no, he has quite a few sons, problematic sons, Chair, very problematic sons. He has 3. Yeah, very, very problematic. I can say to you that because whilst Mr. Dushi Governor is not...
We should not get to any,
personal, yeah, no, I'm not
any
going into
detail with regard to them being problematic.
Yeah. well, Chair, I say that with no contradiction simply because Mr. Governor himself calls me and he tells me to please come and lock his sons up. He calls me. So that's why I say it with no contradiction. He calls me to say he's now fed up of this one and it's fed up of that one. Please come and arrest him. So that's why I say it without contradiction.
And did you arrest them, General?
Chair, we did. Yes, we did. I sent a police van and we arrested his son. I did.
General, I'm trying to make sense of your paragraph 23 read with 26. You say in 23 the reason for the minister going to the police station was to inquire about the case involving Mr. Governor. And in 26, you say, in summary, the minister highlighted that he was on a campaign trail at Umhlali in Ward 28. So I just need to understand, what was the reason for the minister coming to the police station? And maybe if you can also explain for us the photo on page 7. You only referred to us to the one on page 6 of AG2. What is happening on the photo on page 7 of AG2?
Chair, the photo on the page 7 is a photo that was provided to me by Lieutenant Colonel Naika. She was physically shadowing the entourage with the SAPS members during that campaign trail on the roads. And this is a photograph where the minister was on a campaign trail. So this was on the weekend prior to this meeting where the minister was campaigning, where she sent me the photo to say the minister she was giving me updates operationally on what was happening in the area.
Just pause there. These people were not at the police station on the 31st of March?
No, okay. Chair. Yeah. This one was on campaigning. The other picture is on the police station itself.
And the purpose for which the minister was at the police station on the 31st of March?
The minister came specifically to inquire why the station management is not taking decisive action against Mr. Dushi Governor and his family for criminal activities that they are committing in the area.
And he's doing this while he's on a campaign trail?
That is correct, Chairperson. Chair, interestingly enough, the one thing experience has taught me is that whether you say you're from the EFF or whether you say you're from the MK party, all of them are starting at the ANC. So when we had finished that meeting, the very same colleagues that was with the minister on the day in the room, I don't know what conversation and who, but the candidate himself, Mr. Dushi Governor, called me after that meeting and the minister had left. He said, I believe you have now been given instructions to arrest me. This is the candidate, Mr. Dushi Governor. I believe the minister has now given you an instruction to arrest me. And I indicated, no, I did not receive such an instruction to arrest you. We were having discussions about you and your family and your criminal behaviors and cases that might be here, but no instruction to arrest you at that meeting. And I said to Mr. Governor, and he said, well, are you going to be arresting me in any event? I said to him, no, I don't have a warrant of arrest for you. But if you commit a crime in the presence of a police officer, and if there's a case that you commit a crime now and there's evidence, I will come and arrest you. But for now, I don't have anything to arrest you for. So somebody told Mr. Governor that the minister had instructed us in the meeting and then he tells me, no, but the colleagues in that meeting, the comrades from there, told me that the minister told you. I said, no, look, you're not getting the right information. Yes, there was questions about why you were not, you and your family have cases that are not being investigated, you are not arrested for those cases, but not to say we must come now and arrest you. So I didn't have an instruction like that.
General, could we turn to paragraphs 29 and 30 of your witness statement?
Perhaps before 30, Ms. Mkhwanazi, let me just take you to paragraph 29, General. You say while the meeting was in session, Mr.
Sorry, Chair, which paragraph?
29.
29, okay.
Yes. While the meeting was in session, Mr. Odram did join the meeting. I explained to the minister that whilst we wanted to assist him, the difficulty was that it was unclear in what capacity he approached us. Did the minister respond to this comment?
He didn't respond directly to that because the way I put it to the minister was that he was in regalia, he was in ANC shirts, and his colleagues are now taking him to places and people are complaining to him because of his position as a minister. And now as a minister, he has that role and title that nobody can take from him. And I think his comrades have now put him in a predicament where he is now, they want to see him basically how he uses that position to unpack what they are getting complaints about. So he didn't respond to me directly on this particular matter, but it was a subtle way of me bringing it to the attention that it is a bit of a difficulty in the case, in this instance, as to having a sitting minister in an ANC regalia. Even ourselves, chairperson in the police, we, despite what preference you might have of a political party, because we are voters. Bottom line is we are voters. We go to vote. Whether you can say anything, we go vote. But in the fairness of exercising our duty, we do not put on shirts and show our interest and favor to a particular party, despite going to the balloting station, to the ballot paper and putting a cross next to a political party. But in discharging our duties and undertaking any authority given to us, we do not put regalia. So it was a bit a tricky situation for all of us, and I'm glad I was there to support the station commander on the day.
Back to paragraph 30.
Thank you, Chair. You took one of my questions, so I'll ask the second one. But General, just as a clarificatory point, is it correct that the subject matter of the minister's inquiries at that meeting of the 31st was Mr. Dushi Govender? It was not crime broadly or other criminal activities. It related primarily to Mr. Dushi Govender.
It related primarily to the candidate, and I have to say it without any contradiction. It related to the candidate, that Mr. Dushi Govender and his family, but specifically focused on Mr. Dushi Govender. And perhaps, Chair, it was a bit odd that one would take that extent of intervention at the police station. I said earlier on that Mr. Dushi Govender in that particular community enjoyed huge support from that community, and that reflected in the polls. So it was slightly just uncomfortable that somebody who had won the previous landslide elections, that the entire community is suddenly angry against him, that 3 people in the entire community would go to their houses and be interviewed to make a complaint about this candidate and talk about this candidate. And the cases that even with the candidate himself, what is reflected on record is that not a single case was after 2024. So meaning the candidate was up and firm and standing and correct and upright according to everybody's eyes up until 2025 when he changed floors, when he crossed the floor to another party. All this time his record was clean as far as anybody was concerned. So 3 people
according to the minister, that was because the police were doing nothing.
That is correct, Chair. According to the minister, that the police officers were doing nothing until we unpacked each and every case that the particular candidate was charged for previously and the outcomes of those cases. And there's no new cases. There was not a single new case that we had since the previous election against the candidate. So we felt, well, I felt it was a bit odd and mischievous that you'd go to 3 people's houses. Well, perhaps not the minister did it on his own. He was taken to them, to those houses by his colleagues, his comrades. And then from there, you then say that there's a problem with this candidate. And of course, again, in the by-election, it played out and it made, it came clear that the community is not angry with this person. They voted for him again, in a landslide victory again. So it was a bit of uncomfortable, and even as I sit here, it's extremely uncomfortable for me to give evidence of this nature against the minister in such a way, because one would have expected not to have had that meeting at the police station, irrespective of what pressure came from the colleagues from the ANC.
It does seem odd, though, that in 2025 March, the minister would go to a police station and ask why somebody has not been arrested for cases from 2016 and 2021.
That is correct.
I mean, why in 2025? Why did he not ask that in 2024 or 2023?
That is correct, Chair. I think, it's just an open book that everybody's asking the same questions, and the assumptions are as good as mine.
General, as I understand it, the significance of your referencing or mentioning that the minister and the people with whom he was were wearing ANC regalia and T-shirts, the significance of it is he was not in the discharge of ministerial functions. He was campaigning. He was on the campaign trail for a candidate of the ANC. Am I correct in that understanding?
That is correct, Commissioner. And I think it's something that becomes difficult for us as officials to navigate. Now, I'm a general, and I had to navigate through that. I had to go to the assistance of a station commander.
Yes.
A constable would not navigate. He will comply.
Yes.
In an ordinary day.
Yes.
He will not navigate through that.
Yes.
So it becomes quite a bit of a challenge that sometimes office bearers on a political level put us through as government officials.
Yes. So in short, what you're saying is he was in ANC regalia carrying out campaigning and therefore ANC activities, and yet used the power of his ministerial office to get a meeting with the station commander and with the management of the station and to ask about dockets.
That's correct, Chair. But I must be also quite open-minded to the fact to say that if any political party came in regalia and they didn't have a designation of power on them, they could walk into a police station and complain about the candidate, and we would have given them the same attention in their regalia. The complexity here is that it's the minister.
Yes. Well, even with that scenario, would you, it being any other political party, would you bring the docket, as you say in paragraph 23, the minister had asked for a specific case docket to be brought in the afternoon. Would you share that with an ordinary member of the public, the contents of a docket, and discuss the specifics of
No.
a case that's in a docket?
I will summarize. I will not give them the detail that I ordinarily give the minister. We gave him more detail of information. Chair, all this information on individuals in a private, these are private people.
Yes.
All this information we gave to the minister purely because he's the minister. If somebody walked in there, I would have given them audience, but I will summarize it to tell them, I have looked into this docket. My answer to them would be, I've looked into this docket. Your basis, your argument does not stand. What I may advise you to do is take a recourse with the public prosecutor in this docket,
Yes.
but not with the police. I'm satisfied with the extent of investigation that was done and the outcome of the investigation, which took it to court. So your recourse would be with the prosecutor and the NPA. That's the answer I will give you as a normal walk-in. But because it's the minister, the portfolio of the candidate, the history, the background, the profile, it's not entitled to a walk-in. We gave it to the minister because of his level of authority. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, General.
Thank you, Commissioner. And General, perhaps in follow-up to the question from Commissioner Baloy, in paragraph 23, you indicate that on that same day, after the minister had made an initial inquiry, there was a gathering of station management and detectives to meet him at 3 o'clock that same day. So, had it hypothetically been a walk-in who came to make inquiries about the nature of these criminal complaints, would a prompt gathering on the same day of senior station management and detectives have convened to provide this update? Or was that done so largely because of who was making the request?
Chair, this is totally at the instance of the minister, this meeting. It's not a planned meeting. There was no meeting planned with the management. The meeting was called at the instance of the minister.
Thank you, General. General, to tie up your evidence.
If I may. General, just in the light of this last conversation that you and I had, just to be clear, can a member of the public come to a station? Well, can, because it's humanly possible to do, but I'm just trying to understand about how things work. I walk into a station and ask, I want a meeting with managers, and would you concede to that if I ask for that?
Well, let's put it in this context here. If you want a meeting of that nature from a walk-in from the public where you want all the whole management, you will not get such a meeting. You may get an interaction with the investigator of that particular case, but you will not have the ability to order a meeting with the entire management in the afternoon just about your case. But you may get a feedback on your case that you are inquiring about.
Thank you, Commissioner. General, you were at paragraph 30. With reference to the last sentence in that paragraph, you indicate that upon conclusion of the meeting and having answered his questions, that is the minister's questions, you requested that the minister provide you with an official report on these complaints and details of the cases so that you can investigate and properly report back to the office. Are you able to please explain to the Commission what was the purpose of requesting this report? What did you seek to achieve with it in light of the fact that you had answered the questions posed by the minister at this stage?
Chair, my understanding was the minister, Mr. Odram, that was there, was a third party. They were relating versions and narrating stories. For us to establish whether the complainant is actually a complainant and the person is actually complaining, you have to get to that complainant, you have to get to that person. So we wanted the report with the full details, contact details, and names of the person, and I even suggested to them that they could even go with us, take us to those people. So that was the purpose of our requesting the report.
Thank you. General, if you then turn to paragraph 33 of your statement, that's a reference to the picture attached as Annex to AG2. We've already gone there.
That's correct,
Is that right?
Chair.
And at paragraph 34, you detail an interaction you had with Mr. Udram on the 27th of March. You see that?
That's correct, Chair.
Can you speak briefly to that interaction, please?
Chair, this was prior to the campaign trail of the minister. So the minister's meeting was the 31st, and then the prior to that, on the 27th, I received a call from that very same Mr. Udram that came later on into the meeting. Well, Mr. Udram called me to say to me that there was an ANC caucus where Mr. Dushi Govender was discussed, the candidate himself. And the caucus had taken a decision that they will lay a complaint with the minister when he's coming to do his campaign trail, and that they will indicate to the minister that Dushi Govender is a problem in that community, and that the police is doing nothing about arresting Dushi Govender. So he said he's just giving me a heads up, and I must prepare myself that the minister might ask me questions about why we're not arresting Dushi Govender.
Thank you,
Yeah.
My apologies, General. Chair, just to note that it's now 11 o'clock.
Let us continue to the end of the witness's testimony.
Thank you, Chair. Please continue, General. My apologies.
So he gave me the heads up, and that's what led me to then proactively asking one of the captains, the detectives in the station, to draw a profile for me for Mr. Dushi Govender, and we did that. And that particular profile outlines these previous cases, and it then clarifies that there's no fresh in that report. There's no new cases that we have against Mr. Dushi Govender. So having received that report, and on the day of the campaign trail, Chair, ordinarily if there's activities in my district, even when the president was there, I was there, and I was walking around when they did the visit. So when there's a senior person visiting the district, we would normally make ourselves available for those kind of operations. But on that particular day, I was unfortunately committed to a personal prior commitment, so I could not go to those operations that was taking place during the campaign trails. And I then said to the station commander to send my greetings to the minister, but I also messaged the minister to say to the minister that I apologize for not being there personally during his visit to the district, but of my personal commitment. And I then indicated to the minister that there was some kind of chatter that was going on with that candidate. But this is the profile of the candidate, and there's no new cases against the candidate. Something to that effect, Chair.
I assume you are referring to page 10 of AG3, the entry or your text against the 30th of March 2025 at 10:52:49.
That is correct, Chairperson. It is 10.
Where you say,
yes, sir.
You say, "Good morning, Minister. Greetings to you, sir. My apologies for not receiving you at Ward 28 this morning. I'm in Shongweni today with a personal commitment."
And you can see then, Chair, the subsequent message immediately after that. I refer to the minister, to the local branch may raise concerns. I'm now referring to the conversation of that heads up that Mr. Odram gave me about that. So I'm giving the minister that they may raise some chatter around this candidate.
Yeah. Thank you, General.
Thank you, Chairperson. General, you indicated that you had requested an SAPS official to draw you a profile of Mr. Dushi Govender.
That is correct, Chair.
Okay. That would have been Captain Chetty, as per paragraph 35. Is that right?
That's correct, Chair.
Correct. And if I ask you to turn to page 14 of your annexure bundle, page 14 of your annexure bundle, annexure AG5.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm there, and I confirm that.
You confirm. And you indicate that that is an extract of your chats with Captain Chetty, is that right?
That's correct, Chair. Chair, my appeal to you, of course, if there's any need for public, there are other conversations regarding other cases that are part of the chat, but not necessarily related to this particular instance, and one would not want it to be part of the record.
We would, of course, redact them, Chairperson, in addition to the telephone numbers and other personal information.
Please, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. And General, if you turn over to page 15 in your annexure bundle.
Sorry, before you go to 15, I wanted to, the last one on page 14, is it fair to say that one relates to the specific case we're talking about? Because I see there that the date is 27 March 2025.
That's correct, Chair. It's consistent with the phone call that I indicated I received from the branch, giving me the heads up, and then I activated the captain to draw the profile for me.
And then the rest on that page we can disregard.
The previous part of it, yeah. It's just the last part, the last line, basically, the last two lines. Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner. So, General, then just for clarification, on the 27th of March, you received what you call a heads up from Mr. Udram?
That is correct, Chair.
Indeed. And when regard is had to page 14, as well as paragraph 40 of your statement, you requested Captain Chetty to draw a profile of Mr. Dushi Govender, is that right?
That's correct, Chair.
And when you turn over the page, if we're on page 15 of your annexure bundle.
That's correct, Chair. It reflects on the profile.
There are then two profiles. On the top of the page for Mr. Govender Senior, Dushi Govender.
That is correct.
Is that right? And then there's a further profile at the bottom, indeed. And if we are to turn back to page 10 of your annexure bundle, if we go back to page 10 of your annexure bundle.
I'm there, Chair.
Thank you, General. Just to remind you, this is annexure AG3, which is your communication with the Minister.
That is correct, Chair.
At the bottom of that page.
The profile is reflected that I supplied, yeah.
And is that the profile provided to you by Captain Chetty?
That is correct, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, General.
Before you leave this annexure, page 10, General, just in sequence, I would like to understand the sequence of time and dates between this annexure and your statement. In your statement, your meeting with the Minister is on the 31st of March. And as I understand it, the way that I have read it, your interact that seemed to suggest that that was the first interaction about Mr. Govender at the 31st of March in the first you get a report from Colonel Naika that the minister was present and the minister wants a meeting, and then you attend a meeting in the afternoon on the same date. And the impression at this point I got is that you first interact with the minister about Mr. Govender on the 31st. But if you look at page 10 of your annexures, you already on the 30th of March are speaking to the minister about the local branch having raised concern on a candidate. As from the charter I picked up, you say, I did a preliminary check and of note, no new cases against him since he last canvassed for national elections. I'm assuming you're still speaking about Mr. Govender because you've got his name in brackets. When, in fact, do you start talking to the minister about Mr. Govender?
Chair, so the heads-up call that I got from Mr. Udram was on the 27th, and the minister's campaign trail was on the 30th. So on the 30th, so on the 27th, when I got the heads-up, it's the same 27th that you see is consistent with the chats with Captain Chetty, where I actioned him to draw me the profile, which he then supplied to me. That profile, I only supplied it to the minister on the 30th, which is on the day of his campaign trail, when I said to him that you may pick up chatter from the local branch. And subsequently, I gave him the profile of the candidate to substantiate why I'm saying there's no new cases. Then on the 31st, post the campaign trail, the day after is when the minister arrived at the police station, and where we then had a specific discussion around CAS 61 and the rest of the complaints that the minister was referring to.
I guess my question is, at which point and why are you speaking to the minister about Mr. Govender on the 30th? At which point did the minister raise Mr. Govender with you? If he did, at which point? And if he did not do that before the 31st, why are you discussing Mr. Govender with him on the 30th?
Chair, that was out of the conversation that Mr. Odram had with me on the 27th. So remember I said I wasn't going to the campaign trail. Now, already in my mind, the minister is going to be given a narrative that the police is doing nothing about somebody in that particular campaign, and that particular station falls under my span of control. So meaning that if the station is doing nothing, it means the district commissioner is also doing nothing. So to preempt or to how do I put it, to say to the minister, we are aware that the local branch will raise the issue of this candidate, and this is our understanding of the candidate, proactively so. But he never asked for it at that point.
If the minister were to come here and say to us, you started the Govender communication or discussion with him, he didn't initiate it, you initiated it, he would be correct then?
He would be 100% correct.
Yes. And for someone who has a concern about the role of this mixed role of the minister, you know that he's on the campaign trail.
Yes.
You've told us how uncomfortable it is for officers to have politicians meddling, but you know that it's an ANC business, and you initiate discussion not only just about a citizen but an opponent of his party. How does one reconcile your concern about the minister's what appears to be inappropriate involvement or use of power by the minister with the fact that you are in fact the one that initiates that discussion?
Yes, Commissioner. When I provided that information to the minister, and like the fact that I ended up in the meeting, in both instances, it was my way of saying, Minister, this is what you may receive. This is how you should stop it where it starts. When I gave the minister that profile, mine was to arm the minister when he picks this up, because it is quite clear that the ANC comrades, they were going to initiate the conversation to taking the minister into something that will create this blurred line. And in my mind, it was to say to the minister, there's how you should answer the ANC colleagues, that there's this matter with this candidate, there's nothing new, let's leave this thing alone. That's how I understood my providing that detail to the minister, was almost like an early warning to say, don't get into that conversation.
And you were speaking to him on the 30th in what capacity? As minister or a campaigning member of the ANC?
As a minister.
So you were also conflating his roles then?
Sorry, Commissioner?
You were also conflating his roles, because on the 30th you speak to him as a minister, and then in the meeting of the 31st you say, we don't know what capacity you are in here, when in fact on the 30th you are communicating with him as a minister.
Well,
I'm just confused, but I think more seriously concerned that you seem also to be confused about how to use your role. You use your role to provide information about a candidate opposing candidate to the minister, and then you say, but the minister is misusing his role, his power of office by seeking information about a candidate when in fact you gave him information about a candidate in exactly that capacity.
Yes, Chair. Well, my conversation with the minister at all given times will always be with the minister. It will be with nobody else. It wouldn't be in his capacity as anyone else other than the minister. That's the only relationship I can have. Other than that, I wouldn't have a relationship with the minister.
And when you speak to him on the 30th, so that when his comrades or his branch raises these issues, he can deal with it, you expect that discussion would be happening within the political context, right? In the course of campaigning.
That's correct, Chair.
And you see nothing wrong with saying to him, you as an ANC member, I'm the police, when you as an ANC member, when you speak to your comrades, this is the information about the candidate. And I'm sorry, I'm just confused about your own position here.
See, Commissioner, I think that's why I said earlier on, as an official, the conversations one would have, one would try to not be overly expressive of what wants to say, especially with the minister, because you don't want to overstep at the same time, but you also don't want to find yourself in a space where you are party to something that you ordinarily should not be part of, in the sense of when you look at that particular meeting, that meeting should not have taken place. It wasn't supposed to have taken place. Ordinarily, if a minister visits the station, we will have a notice. It comes from his office even to the National Commissioner or to the Provincial Commissioner. There's a secretariat that coordinates that. There's a template given to us to prepare a presentation, and the focus area is directed to us to what we must brief the minister or senior person visiting. Ordinarily, that's the process.
Yes, I don't have a difficulty with the meeting of the 31st and your concern about it. It's actually a shared concern. And I can see the confusion that you would have been sitting with at that meeting on the 31st, whether you're speaking to the minister or you're speaking to an ANC leader. I can see that problem. But what I have a difficulty with is the 30th, that it seems that you, using your office or your position as the police, you go and involve yourself or involve the office, in fact, in something that has absolutely nothing to do with your office. You speak to the minister to say, when you speak to your comrades about an opposition candidate, here's the information about it. I do have a difficulty with that, and especially that you initiated this.
I doubt that, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner. General, if you have a look at page 10 of your annexure bundle, still AG 3. You there? Thank you. At the bottom of that page, you've indicated that that's where you shared with the minister the profile of Mr. Dushi Governed. Is that right?
That's correct, sir.
Right. And can I ask you to turn to the sentence just above the sharing of that profile? Do you see that? Beginning, I did.
Yes, Chair.
And that's, would you like to read that sentence into the record, please? Just read it.
Thank you, Chair. The entry is dated 25/03/30 at 10:59:27. It's from myself. It says, Minister, the local branch may raise concerns on candidate as from the chatter I picked up. I did a preliminary check, and of note, no new cases against him since he last canvassed for national election.
Thank you, General. And you indicated earlier in your evidence that you relayed that information to the minister on that date. The words you used were proactively or as an early warning. What was your intention of sharing that? What do you think you were trying to achieve by?
I guess, Chair, my intention was to subdue any kind of misinformation that might come out from the other colleagues about this particular person.
Who are you referring to, General, when you talk about colleagues? I'm talking about the minister's political colleagues.
Yes, Chair.
Thank you.
And just to be clear, General, that you shared this information based on the heads up, as you would call it, that you received from Mr. Udram on the 27th.
That is correct, Chair.
So in an attempt to proactively take steps in dealing with what he had shared with you.
That is correct, Chair.
Thank you, General. Leaving then your annexure bundle, could I take you back to your witness statement? We are still on page 9, where you my apologies, General, actually. Could you turn to page 10, please?
Okay, I'm there.
Thank you. You've taken the commission through paragraph 35 that relates to your interactions with Captain Chetty. Do you see that?
Yes.
Thank you. And earlier on, you also shared with the commissioners your telephone call with Mr. Dushi after the meeting.
That's correct.
Is that right? Could I ask you to just briefly relay the contents of paragraph 37 to the commission?
All these engagements prompted me to attend the by-elections, Commissioner. So, meaning that actually, because I could see this, what has been transpiring around the concern in this particular by-election, I then decided that I will have an operational commander at the by-elections, but I decided let me go there and also be proactive to make sure that there's no unnecessarily conflicts taking place on the by-election day itself. And I spent the entire day at that by-election voting station where I waited right up until the votes were the polling station was closed and counting had commenced.
Thank you, General. So in your capacity as District Commissioner, in light of the concerns you had witnessed, concerning this by-election, you decided to go and observe the events
correct,
for yourself. And what were your observations at the end of that election?
Chair, the observation at the end of the elections, yes, the elections ran off smoothly, and the successful results was provided, and the elections went off in every respect went off smoothly. The candidate there, Mr. Dushi Govender, did win that by-elections.
Thank you, General. Chairperson, unless there are further questions, the remainder of General Gopal's statement relates to attachments that we've worked through. Unless there are further questions.
General, can I take you back to paragraph 24 of your statement? My co-commissioner, Commissioner Baloyi, asked a question, but in a slightly different context. Paragraph 24 says, Lieutenant Colonel Naika indicated that Minister Mkhunu asked her to gather station management and detectives to meet with him at the station at 1500 hours. Now, can an ordinary citizen or a member of a political party ask a lieutenant general to gather station management and detectives and set a time when they should meet with him at a station?
No, Commissioner Kumalo. The normal political party representative or even member of the public cannot summon the entire management to a meeting.
They would say no.
They would say no, yes.
So the only reason they could have acceded to this request is because it was the minister asking.
That is correct.
And they regard the minister as their boss.
That is correct, Chair.
And if they said no, they were worried that there would be consequences.
Yes, Chair, of course.
Just remind me, in this station, there are 3 photos usually. In every police station, there are 3 photos hung up. Who are the people in those photos?
Chair, the first photo will be for the minister. Sorry, the President of the Republic. President.
General Masemola.
Then you get the National Commissioner.
Yes.
And then you'll get the Minister.
Yeah.
And then you will get his Deputy Minister. And that's it. We don't even have the Provincial Commissioner's photo in the police station. So it stops there.
So when a minister says, gather station management and meet me at 3 o'clock at the station, it's a
You are done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Let's adjourn and return at 10 to 12.